Commander Zephyr 9 of the Altarian hegemony stared at the holographic display with barely concealed disgust. The primitive blue-green world rotated slowly before him, its single moon a testament to the cosmic accident that had spawned the barbaric species below. Humans, he spat, the universal translator struggling to convey the proper amount of disdain. Still using chemical propulsion, still fighting amongst themselves, still burning fossil fuels like cave dwellers. His tactical officer, a crystalline being from Kepler 442b, chimed in harmonious agreement. The Galactic Council's assessment was correct, Commander. They barely qualify as sentient. Their technology is at least 3 millennia behind standard galactic civilization. Zephyr 9 nodded, manipulating the display to zoom in on one of Earth's major population centers. Primitive structures of metal and concrete stretched as far as the scanners could detect. No anti-gravity spires, no quantum entanglement networks, no dark matter processors. Begin the annexation protocol, he commanded. Standard procedure for primitive worlds. We'll relocate the useful specimens to agricultural colonies and strip mine the planet for its resources. Their resistance should be minimal. The first wave of Altarian ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like silver tears in the sky. Their energy shields shimmered, deflecting the pathetic missiles that rose to meet them, chemical explosives. Against quantum barrier technology, it was almost embarrassing. Within hours, major military installations across the globe had been neutralized. The humans' communication networks were jammed by sophisticated interference patterns that turned their primitive radio waves into static. From orbit, the invasion fleet watched as panic spread across the planet's surface like wildfire. But something was wrong. Commander, the tactical officer's crystalline form pulsed with confusion. We're detecting unusual energy signatures from the human settlements. Zephyr 9 frowned. Impossible. Our sensors indicated their highest energy output was from nuclear fission, practically Stone Age technology. Sir, I'm reading quantum fluctuations from what appears to be civilian infrastructure, and there are massive energy conduits beneath several major cities that weren't there during our initial scans. Before Zephyr 9 could respond, proximity alarms screamed throughout the bridge. On the main display, impossible structures were rising. From the Earth's surface, not the crude metal towers they expected, but gleaming spires of crystallized space-time that bent light around them like liquid. What in the name of the void? Zephyr 9 began, but his words were cut short as his ship's systems began experiencing cascade failures. Dr. Sarah Chen watched the alien vessels through the observation deck of Facility 7, buried 3 miles beneath the Colorado Rockies. Around her, technicians worked at consoles that hummed with barely contained energy, their displays showing readings that would have been considered pure fantasy just decades ago. Quantum displacement drives online, reported one technician. Temporal shielding at maximum efficiency, called another. Ma'am, said her chief engineer, the masquerade protocols worked perfectly. They scanned our surface infrastructure and assumed that's all we had. They never bothered to look deeper. Sarah smiled grimly. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt and hide our true capabilities when necessary. Project Deception was 300 years in the making. The truth was, humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel 2 centuries ago. They had cracked the secrets of dark energy manipulation, developed quantum consciousness transfer, and even learned to weaponize gravity itself. But they had also learned something else, something that had saved their species. They had learned to hide. The first alien probe had arrived in 2157. Humanity had detected it long before it reached Earth and made a crucial decision. Instead of revealing their true technological level, they had constructed an elaborate facade, a planetary-scale theater that portrayed them as a primitive, barely spacefaring civilization. They had built fake cities with deliberately inefficient technology. They had staged wars using obsolete weapons. They had even maintained a fleet of chemical rockets for the sole purpose of fooling any observers into believing that humanity was centuries behind galactic standard, all while their real civilization thrived in hidden installations beneath the Earth, in the ocean depths, and in carefully camouflaged orbital platforms. Target their command vessel, Sarah ordered. Let's give them a proper introduction to human ingenuity. The beam that lanced upward from Earth's surface wasn't visible to conventional sensors. It existed in 11 dimensions simultaneously. A concentrated burst of folded spacetime that bypassed every known form of shielding by simply existing in spaces where shields couldn't function. Commander Zephyr 9's flagship, a vessel 3 kilometers long and armed with weapons that could crack moons, simply stopped. Its fusion reactors went silent. Its quantum processors ceased their calculations. Its crew found themselves floating in zero gravity, as even the artificial gravity generators surrendered to the impossible physics emanating from the primitive world below. "Commander," his tactical officer whispered, its crystalline form now pulsing with fear instead of confidence. "They're not primitive. They're more advanced than we are." Across the invasion fleet, identical scenes played out as humanity's true technological might revealed itself. Ships that had traveled between stars found themselves as helpless as insects in amber, held motionless by manipulated gravitational fields that turned local spacetime into something resembling crystallized honey. Then came the transmission, not through radio waves or quantum entanglement, but directly impressed into the minds of every alien consciousness in the fleet. "Greetings," said a calm human voice that bypassed their universal translators entirely, speaking directly to their consciousness in their native languages. "We appreciate your visit to our system, though we must admit we're somewhat disappointed by your intentions. We had hoped that a species advanced enough for interstellar travel would have evolved beyond the conquest mindset." Zephyr 9 found his voice. "How is this possible? Our scans showed—" "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show," the voice replied with what sounded almost like amusement. "We've been watching galactic civilization for quite some time. We know about the Council. We know about your primitive species protocols. We decided it would be educational to let you proceed with your assumptions." Around the captured fleet, space began to ripple like water. From hidden dimensions, human vessels began to phase into normal spacetime, ships that made the Altarian fleet look like crude chemical rockets by comparison. "We're sending you home now," the voice continued. "Your ships will be returned to you, but we've taken the liberty of upgrading them. Consider it a gift. You'll find our technology quite efficient. Your energy consumption should drop by approximately 90%, and your FTL capabilities have been improved by several orders of magnitude." "But why?" Zephyr 9 managed to ask. "Why hide? Why not join the Council?" There was a pause, and when the voice returned, it carried a weight of ancient wisdom. "Because, Commander, we learned long ago that survival sometimes requires allowing others to underestimate you. Your Council conquers primitive worlds and enslaves their populations. We chose a different path. We chose to become the guardians you never knew you needed." As the Altarian ships began their involuntary journey home, their crews discovered that their vessels now ran on technology they couldn't even begin to understand. Human technology that converted thought into reality, that drew energy from the quantum foam itself, that made their old fusion reactors seem like flickering candles. They returned to the hegemony as unwitting ambassadors of human ingenuity, their ships serving as proof that somewhere in the galaxy, a species existed that had surpassed them all while pretending to be primitive savages. And back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen returned to her work, knowing that humanity's greatest victory had been won not through strength, but through the wisdom to remain hidden until the moment was right to reveal that the students had surpassed their would-be teachers. The galaxy would never be the same.